Good to see you all.
This meeting is being recorded.
I'll just wait till everyone can connect in with video, connect into audio. I'm just letting more people in as they come. If you are able to turn on your video today, it's always so much more fun to talk to all your beautiful faces, but totally understand if life gets in the way and you're not able to make it on camera today. We'll just give it a few more minutes. A lot of people are flowing in right now. While I'm letting people in, if you want to put in the chat where you're connecting in from, I think that's always so much fun to see where everyone's joining in from. Cool. Awesome. Well, I think a lot of people are going to still be coming in, but I'll try to manage it as we go. If any of you are new to Heartbeat Tutorials, welcome. We're really excited to have you here. Showing up is half of the hardest part, so just coming here today is already a huge win for you, and we're excited to have you here. But Heartbeat Tutorials are basically a 1-hour session where a community builder or a community expert hones in on one particular topic and dives really deep and allows you to ask questions about the topic and really go deep. So we are so excited to have Misty Dorman here today. A lot of you are already familiar with Misty. She's a pretty familiar face around in the Hearth, our own personal community, and she also at one point was a Heartbeat team member for a bit, which was fun. So we always love to have her back, and she's such a great and important part of our Heartbeat team. So if you are not super familiar with Misty, in her Life Ninjas business, Misty helps overwhelmed entrepreneurs with systems, strategies, tools, and tech to save time and mental calories running their business. She's been heavily involved as a Heartbeat user and also a former member of the team. Shout out. So she loves to create resources to help other Hearties set up their communities faster and easier. She's a wife, mother of 2, and a Jesus lover. When her kids are asleep, you'll find her playing video or board games with her hubby, binging Netflix, and sneaking some cookie dough, which don't we all? So without further ado, Misty, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to go ahead and click record here really quick. Record to the cloud. And did it click record? Can someone give me a thumbs up? Did it go? Cool. And I'll pass it over to you, Misty, and I'll be monitoring the chat for anyone who has questions for Misty. We'll surface them as they come in.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Katie, for that lovely intro. I got the messy bun in. We are going to just dig into this this topic. It's going to be a little technical, so just hang with me. If you're not techie, that's okay. You can grab my slides. I'm going to have Katie share a link so that way you can refer to them again later if you need to. Feel free to screenshot whatever you want as we go. And I will also put everything in my templates pack, which I'll give you a link to later. And just don't be intimidated. We are actually going to go through step by step exactly how I am automating and looping daily posts to my community. What I have is, and I'll show you in just a minute, it's 365 days worth of like daily affirmation, success mindset type posts that I'm just going to repeat every year because probably you don't remember what you read in my community a year ago, honestly, right? And you might not remember what you read yesterday, and you might need to hear it again. So I love repurposing good content. So there's a ninja tip for you. If you have good content, you don't need to make new content constantly. You can just keep reusing it and repurposing it and all that good stuff. Okay, so Katie shared the link to the slides in the chat. Let's see, I'm going to share my screen. I have just a couple of slides, but I'm also just going to go through my actual tools and show you every little bit of my setup. Can you guys see that? Okay, we're good. Okay, so how to automate and loop daily posts. This is an example of the type of post that I have going into my community. So it just has like a header at the top with the date and the topic, and then it's got, you know, a little bit of description text, some tips maybe, and an image. So you can do all or some of that with, you know, what I'm teaching today. I also want to just say, you can possibly adapt this strategy. So you're doing maybe not every day posts, but maybe you want to just do like a monthly post, or maybe you want to do quarterly, day of the week, some other type of looping post. And you don't have to use the exact same tools I'm using. I'm using Airtable, Pabbly. We'll go through my tools in a minute, but you can probably adapt to your own set of tools if you have similar tools that you're using. Okay. So this is just an overview of what I'm using. What are the different components of this strategy? So I use Canva to create all of my images. I'm guessing a lot of you use Canva. Maybe show of hands in the comments if you're familiar with Canva, use it, or maybe you're not. Let me know, because that'll tell me how deep into Canva I need to go when I get to that. But I'll probably just do a very quick overview of what I've got in Canva. And this just keeps it really simple, so I don't have to like get into some complicated tool to create these. I didn't add it to the slide, but I have a VA that just created all the images for me. I had a list of like 365 quotes and text, you know, affirmations and that kind of thing, and just said, can you use this Canva template and just create all these images? And that was very cheap to do because I, you know, just hired a VA, got it done, got it off my plate. So I highly recommend that if you are doing something similar. Okay, and then you also need your post text. So if you're gonna have a description in your post, you need your text, and a tool like Airtable. Airtable is just a free database tool that is like a spreadsheet type of thing. So you could possibly get away with using Google Sheets. Airtable, you don't need to get the paid version in order to do this. You can definitely use the free version if you want to. And Pabbly, which is an automation tool similar to Zapier. And that is really kind of where the magic happens, right? That's basically what I'm using to connect everything together, and it just runs in the background and does all these posts for me every day. Okay, so you don't need that just yet. I want to go into Canva. Okay, let me know, are you seeing my Chrome window, or did I only share just my slides?
We can see the Chrome window.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep.
I don't remember it asking me which window to share even. So, all right, technology. Here, I'll just maximize this. So this is Canva, and this is just all of my daily affirmations. I had a different project file for each month, basically, and they're all the same. You can obviously get much more creative with this. This is just one piece of what I would be posting into my community, right? And for me, it's very recognizable. It's all in just one success mindset kind of channel in my Heartbeat community. And I was going for quick implementation, right? And easy for my VA to just basically copy and paste into all these. So for example, these are my May posts. In Canva, you can just go and grab a design template. So you just go to like the design area right here. I did, what size did I do? 1080 by 1080. So just some kind of square, or you could do a rectangle, whatever you want, right? And it's going to give you some templates. In this case, because I chose that size, it's giving me probably mostly Instagram type templates by default. You can also search in here for what you want, but you can kind of just pick a template that you like, get it over here and paste your text in there. It's super duper easy. And then the next piece of that is that we had to put them in Google Drive. So I didn't mention Google Drive. You could probably use Dropbox or something like that as well. I used Google Drive, and I just did a folder for every month. So I have a daily affirmations folder. I have a folder for every month. The important part in Google Drive is that you need to have your sharing turned on. So you can do it on your main folder, but you want to go to, I just right clicked and did share. I'm clicking share, and then you want to make sure it says anyone with the link right here under general access. By default, it's going to say private, like only you can see it. And you need to make sure that the image is able to be shared in that. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And make sure that is turned on for all of your folders. So whatever folder you turn it on, it should automatically kind of filter down to all the subfolders and all the files inside of there. Okay. Let me just move this little zoom thing. Okay. So this is Airtable. This is the next piece of it. This is just a giant database of all my posts, basically. And I know for some of you, this might look kind of crazy. Don't worry, I'm going to break it down. It's okay. We're going to work through it. All right. So this first column here, really, this is just a number of the post, and it's not really used anywhere. It's just to have like a unique field in here. You have to have something in the first column. So I just called that the record number. And you just number them, you know, go up in number as you go. Okay. And then I have the month and the day of the year. So that's like July 5th. And then this one right here, the full post date, this is a formula that is adding the current date to the month and the day. The reason I'm doing that is because I want it to loop. So later on down the road, when it's 2024, these are going to change and say 2024. And when Pabbly, my automation tool, is looking for today's date, it'll still be able to find it because I have not hard coded in 2023. Okay, so you'll need to have a formula like this in here to get the current year if you want to loop these posts. And like I said, feel free to screenshot if you want, or I will have all this in the templates pack. You can go back and rewatch this, you know, get the replay and just walk through it when you're actually doing it. Totally fine. Okay, the next column, this is the image share URL. So when you go to Google Drive and you click share and you get the URL, this is what it looks like. It's in this sort of format. That is not the format that Heartbeat needs in order to display the image. So we have to do a little bit of work to change it a little bit. And this is another one where I just had my VA go in and fill out these because I didn't want to sit here and do 365 days worth of copying and pasting. And for real, just find somebody on Upwork that can copy and paste, okay? And you can pay them like $3 to $5 an hour, and it's just worth it to get it off your plate. But if you have to do it yourself, honestly, it doesn't take that long. All right. And then this image ID, this is another formula. It's just grabbing this number after, so where it says drive.google.com/file/d/, it's this number right here. It's like the ID number of the file in Google Drive before the next slash. And I will show you that formula as well. So I kind of just had to do some counting and figure out when does the ID start and how many characters is it, and that's how we end up with this formula. So you should be able to copy this because yours should be similar, but if something's not working, there's an extra character missing, play with these numbers just a little bit. And Katie, let me know if any questions are popping up as we go. We can always answer all your questions at the end too. If there's something kind of about what I'm showing you right now, let me know.
Yeah, you said that right as a question just came in.
Oh, really?
Perfect timing. Yes.
Awesome.
We got a question that, do you find this easier than using something like native content calendar provided with a Canva Pro license? Only asking because I was trying to see if automation was possible without buying Pabbly, which is a great tool, just a bit pricey currently for my business size.
Yeah. You can schedule right inside of Heartbeat, but you can't currently loop anything. And there's not a great organization to it just yet. This is still like version 1 of the scheduling tool. And I'm sure they will be making tweaks and changes in the future, but just kind of right now, as we're recording this, you would have to like manually input each post into there. I'm not sure if there's another great way to do it without a scheduling tool.
Right.
The nice thing about Pabbly is, and you can use my link if you want to, there's a lifetime deal. So it would be just kind of like a one-time lifetime payment and you'll have permanent access. If you prefer to use a different tool like Zapier, it's like a monthly fee, and you do get a certain number of zaps for free. So you might see if that would meet your needs, and maybe then you wouldn't have to get another tool. Did I answer that? Or let me know if there's like a follow-up question I missed.
Yeah, I'll let you know if there's a follow-up. I did get another question that was just a direct DM to me, and I'm sure that someone else on this call is also thinking the same thing. So someone asked me if there is a way to schedule posts in Heartbeat. So yes, there is. There is a way that you can schedule it out without having to post it in real time. But what Misty's talking about is being able to schedule out 365 posts automated for you, so that you don't have to think about it and don't have to go through and schedule every single one of them on a loop every single year.
Which is kind of the important part, is that you don't have to repost them yourself. So even if you were just trying to do a monthly post, like maybe on the first of the month you do the same type of post every month, you could just do 12 posts in here with the month, the month, the day, and the year, or basically you repeat one every month. However you want to do it, you can adapt it to your needs, but it'll loop for you, which currently you can't do with Heartbeat's native scheduling. So that's kind of the big one. And then just if you have, like, if I clogged up my Heartbeat scheduler with this many posts, and then I wanted to schedule some other post, like, I don't know if it would get buried in there. Like, it would be hard for me to find what I'm looking for if I want to go back and edit something that's scheduled out. It's just too much in there. So I do use Heartbeat's native scheduler sometimes, but I don't tend to have a lot in there at a time, because it makes it hard to go back and edit and find things and all that. So I'm hoping they will implement some more organization with it, or like a calendar type of thing with, where you can see what's scheduled for what day and time. Like, that would be awesome. But right now, for me, this was the easy way to do it. And then, I was just on a road trip for 2.5 weeks, and I didn't have to worry about if I had posts going into my community, because I knew this was just going to be out there. So there was at least something. And for me, that's a way to stay consistent, even when I don't feel like being, in my community all the time, right?
Exactly.
So, and creating content all the time.
Yeah, that is a great point. And we got one more question too that came in, that of which lifetime level of Pabbly do we all need to make this whole process work?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I think probably the cheapest one might be okay, but you'll have to look at like how many workflows you get with it, and how many I'm not sure how many actions you get with it. I think they call it actions. So just take a look and decide, like, if you need 365, then, and there's like multiple actions inside of the workflow, like, just kind of see how that breaks down a little bit for you. I'm on the top plan, so I'm not, and I never come close to using all my stuff in there. Awesome. But definitely I always recommend, like, don't necessarily buy for what you need today, like plan for future growth, because you will wish that you had enough space later down the road. And just believe in yourself that your business is going to keep growing and you're going to need more. So consider that as well. Okay, so I showed you the image ID, and then this one, the next column, is the actual image URL, that the format that's required for the post. So I'll show you that formula. So it's just changing the beginning of the link to this right here, the drive.google.com/UC?ID equals, and then it's concatenating the image ID onto that, and you can see this is what it ends up looking like. So it's just a new URL. Okay, super simple. You don't have to come up with all the formulas yourself. Just go back and watch this replay as you're doing it, and you'll be able to just type it in. Okay. This column was just for me, because I was working with a VA who was entering all of the links and everything in for me. This was just a column for me to check mark that I've looked at it. I've got my post text added to this column, and it's like ready to go. So you may or may not need that column. That was just kind of for me to know what I was done looking at, essentially. And then this column is the post text. Now I will show you. This is just a long text field, so there's nothing special about this field, but I am adding, let me find one, some HTML to this area. And that was another reason why I needed that check mark to say I'm done with it, because I had already created the text in a different tool that I was using, just saving all my posts basically. So I had all these posts created, but I didn't have anything in it to do any special formatting. So if you want any type of special formatting in your post, then this was where you would do it. You can do some simple HTML, and Heartbeat will read that in just fine for you. So for example, right here, I'm bolding the text, and down here, I'm doing like a new paragraph. So it's telling it to do a line return essentially. And we go to my slides here in case you want to take a screenshot, or you can grab the slides so you have that. This is sort of the most common HTML that I'm using. If there's something else that you wish you could do with it, feel free to comment and maybe I'll know the HTML for that. Or you can always Google it, like, how do I do this with HTML, and you'll find the code. Essentially, the format of HTML, for those who don't know how this works, the stuff in these little brackets, the little less than, greater than symbols, that's the HTML code. So I've got that all in this kind of coral color. And then the stuff inside of it is where you put your text. So you have to open the instructions essentially, and then close the instructions. So this one right here with the P is creating a new paragraph. If you do strong, then it's going to bold your text. If you do EN, it's going to italicize or emphasize your text. If you want to have a link inside of your text, you'll put this A space href equals, and then the actual link in quotation marks, and then close it with this A or /A, and that's going to turn the text. So what's right here, it turns that into a link. Okay. I told you we're getting it. It's messy bun time. Okay. Now you don't have to do any of this, but some of my posts get a little bit long. So at the very least, I needed this paragraph in there to tell it to do a line return, because you know how posts start looking like just a wall of text if you have too much, like a giant paragraph. So I had to throw some of these paragraph markers in there. Okay, so H1, H2, any of those, that's going to turn it into a header. So I do a lot of like H2s in mine. You can play around in Heartbeat and see which format you like better when you need a header. And then lists, I do some lists sometimes. So this is the format for an unordered list, which is like a bullet list. And then this is the format for an ordered list, which creates it in numbers. And you just put your list item. So you could almost like copy and paste this from my slide. And then every time you want to add another list item, you just open and close it with these LI, the LI code. Okay. And then emojis also work. Okay. So if you don't know your emoji shortcut on your keyboard, I'm on Windows, so I just use the little Windows key, the 4 squares, and then the period on my keyboard, and that pulls out all the emojis that you can do. On Mac, I believe it is Control Command Space, and it should pull up your emojis. So you can also paste those into Airtable. I do it all the time. It's awesome. Okay, so back to Airtable here. So yeah, if we look through here, like these question marks are emojis. So I'm just bolding this with a question. I've decided when I want a response, I'm bolding those questions. So I'm trying to do that on all my posts where the question is. I'm just bolding it, and I'm usually putting this little question mark emoji. And then, yeah, that's the only formatting really that I have in here other than the paragraph, okay, because I wanted it to line return there. So I'd say just keep it simple. The other thing is, when you do set this up in Pabbly, set it up to go to a test channel that nobody but you has access to, and make sure it's working first. I would definitely recommend that. So maybe you actually add a couple of test posts in here for, the next day or something, and then see if Pabbly is like formatting those correctly for you once they get to Heartbeat. Make sure everything's showing up how you want to, okay?
Misty, we got a comment in our chat that asked if you could show how the posts look when they are posted into your community.
Yeah, so I don't know if, hang on, let me get back. This is how they look right here. So I did the H2 header, and I think, or maybe I just bolded that, right? I think it's the H2. That's an H2 right there. And then this like ninja tip, I bolded that right there. These are the paragraph returns. So like after children, it's returned. And then it's automatically attaching the image for me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I think that some people are still a little bit confused on why it might become unorganized to just schedule it through Heartbeat itself. So just to kind of clarify that, if you're going and scheduling a ton on Heartbeat and then you have, let's say, some other posts that are promoting, that you've scheduled out that are promoting an event or something that's really important coming up that you need your community to know about, but you want to go through and edit it after you've already scheduled it, it might be kind of difficult to cipher through 365 scheduled posts to try to find what you've scheduled that's super important coming up that you need to edit. So I guess I hope that that makes a little bit more sense and kind of clarifies why this process would be a little bit easier for that reason.
The other thing I'm trying to remember with the scheduler, I don't think it's super obvious like which channel everything is going in. And so if you were to do something like this, like you have your daily posts in here, like I'm showing you, maybe you also have day of the week posts. So then you have 52 times each day of the week, you know, so you still have like another 365 posts you're making potentially on top of that. And you can't, it's like maybe hard to tell like what channel is this even going into. I mean, you have other posts like Katie said, maybe you're doing a promo, maybe, you know, whatever. You might have like quite a few different types of posts you're doing to engage your community. If that's all in the Heartbeat scheduler, the way it is right now, it's just, there's no way to organize it really. It just, I'm not even exactly sure how it's choosing the order to put them in. I'm not sure they're in actual like the order of what's coming up next always. So play with it. If that suits your needs, use it. For me, I want to loop these posts. I don't ever want to have to like recreate 365 I want it automated and looping every year, and I don't ever have to touch this again. So if I want to go and edit it, I can edit it in Airtable. So maybe something, I don't know, these are very evergreen, so I don't anticipate something changing. But if something changes, or maybe I have a new like affiliate link that I could add to a few of these that would be helpful with a few of these different posts, then, you know, I could go in and add my link or something like that. It's very easy to find. I could search Airtable for, you know, certain words or whatever. But yeah, that's why I'm doing this, because I wanted to just loop it and not have it clogging up my Heartbeat schedule the way that that is right now. Okay, so come back here. There's not a whole lot left here in Airtable. I showed you my post text, so this is what I'm manually putting in. This is a formula for what Pabbly needs in order to translate this over to Airtable. So let me show you this formula. So I am automatically adding, I just showed you how my post looks. I'm adding the post date and the word success mindset to it in an H2 bracket. So it's making that a header at the top, basically. Then it's putting in the post text. And then I'm doing so this is automatically going to be on its own line because it's not in the H2, but then I'm doing a paragraph and putting the image. So it's grabbing the post image URL from this post image URL column and kind of closing all that up nicely. Okay, so this is what's going to spit out the better format. So it will display all in Heartbeat how you want it. So if you have something like that, like a header that you want on every single post, and you don't want to have to type it in on every single post, that's how you do it. You put it into your formula over here. Okay, so that's the Airtable. Let me know if we have any other questions about that. I'm going to keep moving here. I can't see my tabs. There we go. And I'm just going to show you how I have it set up in Pabbly. Like I said, if you use Zapier or some other tool, it's going to be very similar. This is like, take the basics of what I'm doing and recreate it in your tool. That's totally fine, as long as you have the same functionality available to you in the tool that you're using. So for this workflow in Pabbly, my trigger is basically every day at 8 a.m. So you can tell it how often you want it to run. If you want it to run every 7 days, looks like you can do days of the week, excuse me, certain days of the month. You can tell it how often, and that means how often am I going to have it go out and look for a record in Airtable. So how often do I want it to post, basically, or see if there's a post that needs to go out for that day. So if you are missing days, it is okay. You don't have to have like a whole 365. You're just going to say like every day, for example, on this one, every day at 8 a.m. my time, which is Phoenix time, go out and see if there's a record, okay? And what it's doing next is just getting a date time format for Pabbly. So this is the basic format. So it's taking the current date that it kind of automatically uses, which is not the format I wanted, and I'm giving it the format that I want. Okay. So this is the basic format that I want. This is so that I can match it up to Airtable and the way that Airtable formats a date. Okay, and then what it's doing is, let's see, date time formatter. So this is another formatter. Okay. So it's formatting it with the time zone. Here's the date right here. So it's kind of looks complicated. It's not bad. It's pulling from number 2 here, number 2 action, the date time. That's what that is pulling it in from this format. And actually this is the one that's reformatting it for Airtable, and I spoke there earlier. So it's changing it into this more simple format, basically. Hopefully that makes sense. If you don't do these steps, it just won't be able to match up to a date in Airtable. You just have to make the date format match Airtable. Okay, and then this is Airtable. So do this Airtable search record. Okay, so it's searching my heartbeat post schedule database, and it's looking in the daily success mindset table, and it's searching the full post date column that we had, the one that added the year to the month and the day. It's searching that column, and it's saying, does it match to the current date that Pabbly, Pabbly has already pulled the current date for me. Does it match up to this format from step 3 up here, the output from this? So it's essentially saying, is there something in Airtable that matches today's date? So do I have a post that I need to do today? Okay, and then I only have it continuing if something matched. That's what this is doing. So it's just grabbing, like, was there a result in this field from the last step? Then we're going to go ahead and move forward. Okay. If not, it's just going to do nothing. So if it doesn't find a matching date, okay, there's no post for today, I'm not going to do anything. Okay, and then here's kind of where all the magic happens with this. So it's going to go into Heartbeat and create a new thread from me. So I'm the one that's going to be the author of the post. You can change that if you don't want it to be from you. Maybe you want different types of posts to be from different admins that you have in your group. And then this is the channel in Heartbeat that I want it to post to. And then here's the message. This is not something I typed in. This is something it's grabbing off of Airtable. So it's mapped over to Airtable, and it's from the results that it found. So remember, it went out, it matched to the line, the row in Airtable, and it's able to grab that information. So it's grabbing from that last column, the text, the post text right here. And that's it. That's all it's doing. So it's really, I know that it, like, for those of you that aren't techie, you might be like, oh my gosh, what are we looking at here? But it really, like, once you just go through step by step, and if you just walk through this video again when you're actually trying to do it, you'll be able to do it, and you'll be like, okay, this isn't so bad. And I'm here to answer any questions that you have about this process. And like I said, you should be able to modify it if you don't want to do a whole 365 days of posts. That's okay. you can do probably less posts. You could do monthly posts. You could do weekly posts, however you want. And I don't think I had, this was just my end slide here. So these are just some resources, how I can help you. I am going to put my actual Airtable, I'll put that as a template that you could just like pull right into your Airtable account with all the formulas and everything already filled in. I'm going to add that to my templates pack. So, and you can use this link for $10 off my templates pack. And if you want that, and I'll also put the Pabbly workflow. So if that just makes it easier for you, I like to put templates out there to make things easier for people. There's a lot more in there as well. So feel free to go look at that if you want to. Otherwise, like I said, just walk back through this video and just do the step-by-step. You got this. Hire a VA, just get your VA to do it. It's totally fine. And then I do also offer setup consults if you need that, just like a 1 hour help you with your tech setup. We can dive in on something together if we need to. And then this is my YouTube playlist if you need other like tutorials, how-tos, whatever, and let me know if you have requests for anything. And then if you'd like to join my community, that's where you can do it. So do we have any more questions? I know I just like hit you with a water hose and are your minds spinning? Let me know.
Yeah, now that we seem to have plenty of time. So if anyone wants to just hop off of mute and just ask your questions directly to Misty, we have plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, if you need me to dive more into anything, like if you're like, I don't know anything about Canva, show me how you do that, like anything like that, feel free to ask that too.
I have a question. We're renovating our kitchen and my person just left, so I just jumped in. Is this going to be like recorded? Because this is the one thing I've been wanting to watch all year.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and then you had in the email, you had a link like to a lifetime Pabbly thing. Which level would we need to get to be able to do what you're doing? Because the thought of this is amazing to me.
Awesome. I'm not sure without, I'd have to go and look at their, maybe I'll pull it up here. Hang on. Let's go look at what their different levels are.
Sorry,
Yeah, I was just answering this a little bit ago, so I know you just jumped on. I was just saying that I always say like future proof, right? So by whatever level you're kind of like working towards and not necessarily where you're at right now, because you're going to end up finding a bunch more that you want to do with this tool once you have it. You're going to want to automate all of the things, right? And then
I have a media company and we run so many things. I have to start automating everything I just do. And so that's why this is like so important.
And if you have a different tool you're using, like Zapier or something, it's okay to use that. It's totally fine. So this standard one says you can do 3,000 tasks every month. If we look at my Pabbly, let me find that window again. Hang on.
But there's some things that you can't do with that low program thing. So that's what I was thinking. You might need to have the ultimate one.
So I think it's counting like each one of these as a task. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tasks times 365. So, and then plus whatever other things that you want to do with Pabbly. So you might not, think that this is enough. This gets you 10 workflows, so that this would only take up one workflow. I think by two, I don't know what they mean by two-step. Let's see what they mean by multi-step. Nope, that's not what I wanted. You can create multi-step work with any number of steps. So maybe you can only do, you can only do one trigger and one action with this, and we have 6 actions, right? So I think you would need to do this higher tier.
Okay.
Looking at that, yep.
Awesome, thank you.
But the awesome thing is you then get unlimited workflows, and you could kind of do as much as you want forever and ever. And like I said, you're going to want to do all the things. It's a lifetime. I think they do have a monthly plan, but this link will get you to the lifetime plan. So I would take advantage of that if you're able to.
Yeah, I love lifetime things because then you're just done.
Yeah. I'm trying to move all the rest of my stuff from Zapier over here, and I just have like a couple things, I'm like, I just need to get the rest over here because I have the lifetime deal. I need to get out of, paying for other tools, that kind of thing.
I have a question for you, Misty. What is it about Pabbly that like you're attracted to over like other automation tools?
The biggest thing is the lifetime deal, because I know like we all get sucked into paying so many subscription fees because we just need all these different tools to run our business and do everything we want to do. And for me, just having that done and never having to pay again is nice. A lot of the other tools, it's like you pay more if you use it more. So, you know, you might start out on like $20 or $30 a month, but then before you know it, you're paying like $50 or $60 a month. Times that by how many tools we're using. It's just a lot. I will say something like Zapier is more intuitive, more user friendly, I feel like, for certain things. But for like this workflow in Pabbly, it wasn't any harder to set up, I don't think, than Zapier would have been. So I think it's like decently user friendly. Their support is really good too. So essentially, if you want support, they do have a Facebook group, but they also have a forum. Basically, you go post in there and someone from the Pabbly team will answer your question pretty much within a day. So they've been really good and helped me a lot. And when I had some major issues on a like kind of a complicated thing I was trying to do, they got on a Zoom call with me. It was like 10:30 at night my time because they're overseas, but they got on a Zoom call and showed me how to fix some things that were going hokey. And I thought that was really great. So and they have maybe not every single tool integration that Zapier has, but they're really good about adding them if you ask. So if you're missing something, you know, request it. If there's a tool you're using that you just can't connect to. Yep.
We had another question that just came in. Said, thank you for all of this. I have a question for Misty, but not on this topic.
Okay.
Not related question. We can take it because we have plenty of time.
Hey, yeah.
You once made a video on a how-to video for creating a custom landing page for your Heartbeat community. My question is, that landing page hosted on your site and the Heartbeat elements are embedded onto that page, or is the landing page hosted in Heartbeat and I just can't find it?
So I did have a landing page that was on my website and it had links. So one link was like to join my free community, and then it would collect their email address and their name, add them to my email list, and it would give them the link to actually go on board into the community. And then the other link was just to log in. Now Heartbeat has its own, let's see if I can get logged in, I'll show you. They have their own built in now, so I'm not actually using my old one anymore. I'm just gonna log into my community and I'll show you where it's at. If you want to use it, it looks like you do have to have a custom domain because this option won't show unless you do. So if you are using a custom domain, it's in this custom domain area in your admin settings, and you can turn on this custom login page. And I've basically put all my information right in there and my video and everything. And there's a button that says continue into the community. And then down here, I selected which invitation link is like the default that they end up joining into. So yeah, now that Heartbeat's added that, I don't really need my own custom page anymore. I just use theirs.
Awesome. Justino, let us know if that helped answer your question. Now you're getting flooded with questions here in the chat.
That's fine. If you want to see how that looks, I'll just, as long as you're not logged into my community or you put it in an incognito window, here's the link and you can see what it ends up looking like on the other end and totally mimic what I did there. It's totally fine.
Perfect. Justino said thank you, so I think that helped.
You're very welcome.
Perfect. We got another question that said, would it be pretty easy to set up multiple buckets to pull from, i.e. quotes buckets, promo buckets, and daily tips, etc.?
Yeah, I would just like probably set it up in that same Airtable, and I would just create. See, I started creating a new. I haven't finished this yet because I want to do some testing on if I can loop other posts in here the way that I want to. But I would just add a new table and just kind of copy your existing table and tweak it how you need to. And then you can have Pabbly just go and look at that other table. So you may need multiple Pabbly workflows in order to kind of keep that organized and make sure it's all working correctly. I would have just duplicate your Pabbly workflow and change the table in it, basically.
Cool. Jason, let us know if that helped you out there. He said, thanks. Cool. Just going down the list here. We got a question. How long have you been using Pabbly and how long has it been around?
I'm not sure how long they've been around. I think they were on AppSumo a while back and I didn't catch that or notice it or know about it. So I totally missed that deal. I'm kind of kicking myself now, but I do have the lifetime deal. I got that probably a year ago and it's been working fine. I've just been kind of slowly moving my other things over to it. It integrates pretty well with Heartbeat specifically. Like, I think it's missing a couple of triggers and actions still that Zapier has, but there is a feature request for that you can go vote on. And it's got everything that I've needed so far as Heartbeat goes.
And then we got another question from Najina. And let me know if I'm mispronouncing your name. It said, I am an intern at Podcasters Directory, and we're starting our Heartbeat community. Do you have any advice for pricing? What's the average price for a community? And I know this is a pretty loaded question. We have a tutorial all around pricing that I can send you after this, but curious if you have
Yeah, I would definitely say go watch that. Yeah. There's so much around pricing. I would say look and see if there's anyone doing something similar and what they're charging, and that can help you get kind of like in the right ballpark for what you're doing, you know, see what they're offering versus what you're offering. I also like doing like founding member pricing. So discounted pricing for my initial launch, you know, I definitely had good success doing that. And you get good retention on those people because you raise your prices and they feel like some FOMO about like, oh, if I cancel, then I'm not going to get this rate anymore. And everybody else is paying more than me, right? So I'm a big fan of that. I'm not a fan of getting people in for free because then they don't tend to take advantage of the resources. They don't show up for your events. They don't participate as well if they get it for free. So they got to have a little skin in the game, right? But I would see like kind of what's common for your niche if there's other things similar to what you're doing, and also take into account, you know, just the amount of value that you're putting into it.
Totally agree with everything you said. And yeah, and I will send you that in a DM, the tutorial all around pricing, because it's definitely a full tutorial all in itself is just pricing.
Yeah.
And we're getting a lot of love here in the comments section for all of your help. We got time for probably one more question. Can we embed podcast player with its system on Heartbeat through Airtable and Pabbly? I
have not tried it, but I would guess the embed code should work just fine. I would say test it. Just test it. Like I definitely had a test channel and I tested that like a few days worth of posts were working before I turned on the floodgate, you know, and just pointed it to the correct channel, because I was like, anything in here could be formatted just totally wonky. And it was. I had to test it, you know, several times before I really got all the formatting correct and everything. So test before you turn it on to your audience.
Awesome. And we're right on time to get things kind of wrapped up. I have all the links here in the chat that I'm going to drop for everything that Misty's showing for her resources right here. I'll also post these in the replay in the Hearth too, just in case you don't get them right now. I know there's a lot of different links going on. So
and for anyone that showed up late, we've got the slides also have some of these links in them too. And I'll post the slides link. Perfect. So you can just grab the PDF of these slides and you'll be able to grab some of that as well.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Misty. And we all know that Misty will be in the Hearth if you have continued to have questions. She's our facilitator for the automation channel. So she's going to constantly be in there, and you'll know where to find her after this. So no
Absolutely.
problems.
Thank
on
you
that.
all for hanging with me through this very technical tutorial. I know it's different from a lot of the other tutorials you've probably been to, because we're really like diving into like how to do this specifically with Heartbeat, and so thank you for those of you that hung through it, and hopefully it provided some good value to you.
Awesome. We appreciate you, Misty. And before we head out, we have 3 things that we like to do. The first one being, we like to do what we call a waterfall, where we go to the chat and type something that is our biggest takeaway from today's tutorial. And before you hit enter, I'm going to wait for everyone to give me a thumbs up. And once I see a good majority of the screens have a thumbs up, we're all going to hit enter at the same time. So I'll give you a minute or 2 to type your biggest takeaways, and then we'll do that. And just put your thumbs up when you're ready. Give you just a second more. All right. 3, 2, 1, enter. Oh my gosh, there's so many good takeaways. Automation is easy. Learning what Airtable can be used for. Airtable and Drive integration, automation rules. My biggest takeaway was setting up posts and use of HTML, organization. Women are great in tech. Oh yeah, love that one. Automation is easier to implement than you think. Wasn't familiar with Pabbly, game changer. This is all super great stuff. Thank you so much. And so we got our waterfall. That is awesome. I love all the love in the chat. Second thing here is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So some of you might be new to Heartbeat. You might not already have a Heartbeat account yourself. So if you are new here, Heartbeat is an all-in-one platform for community business. We have a lot of different core features, but our main bread and butter is payments. We really allow you to monetize your community in any way that you want. So if you are new here, we want you to be able to have your own trial account. And how that will work is I'll drop this this URL in the chat here in just a second. But if you click this, you'll be able to sign up and get started with your community. And within the next 2 days, if you start your trial under this heartbeat.chat/Misty, you will get 30% off your first 3 months when you upgrade to your paid community. So we're super excited to have you. And if you have any questions on that, definitely reach out to me, but I'll drop that in the chat here in a second. Let me drop that. Hold on. Perfect. And then the last thing that we like to do is we like to end all these calls with a picture of all of us holding up a heart. This is a great way for us to just tell all of our 12,000 people on our newsletter and all of our investors what we're up to. So if you're new here, what we do is we just hold up a heart with our hands, and I'll count you down from 3 and I will take a video. So if you are able to, not a video, a picture. If you're able to come off of camera, now is the time. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Perfect. Thank you so much. And Misty, you're awesome. We appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Bye, guys.